Welcome to another edition of Roadhouse Live. We are live. Today is November 24, 2023, the day after the Thanksgiving, the day that they refer to as Black Friday. How are you feeling on this Black Friday, Binda?
Ready to do some shopping.
Are you really?
No.
I looked. I didn't see. There was nothing that I was like, wow, that's a deal. I think they're holding out.
I did order a Blackstone griddle. I did do that.
Did you feel like you got great value on said griddle?
It was a good price. Yeah, it's a good price.
That's good.
And now I still got to try to find a home on wheels. And they have quote unquote Black Friday deals, which I just can't imagine that, going to buy something like that, there's going to be a big difference on Black Friday.
Yeah.
Like, you get a free outdoor rug with any RV purchase.
Completely incidental. Yeah. No. So I spent, the evening yesterday trying to negotiate with a couple of companies that didn't understand that I wasn't going to buy unless they gave me a better discount.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I'm running out of time, so I'm trying to. I sent a bunch of, price inquiries, requests, whatever. I sent a bunch of them out yesterday. Didn't expect to hear anything back, but most of them are like, "Oh, this is what you're asking. Well, I'm going to offer you $25,000 less. If you'll take it, I'll pick it up tomorrow."
Right.
We'll see if I get any responses, but
yeah, may the force be
nothing yet. Yeah.
So I don't know, from the reading that I did this morning, I don't know that I saw anything as far as like any type of like data come out or anything like that, as far as, people sitting there shopping stuff with turkey. I don't know that I saw anything there necessarily. As from a news standpoint, NVIDIA did tell their suppliers or their customers in China that they're going to have to not roll out their newest AI chip, something like that, as they work around the, I don't know if they're calling them sanctions or rules or whatever we're calling as far as selling shit to China. There was that. Tesla again had a lot of great positive headlines going into Thanksgiving for the actual company, not the leader of the company, as far as doing a deal, I believe, with BP, as far as putting charging stations at BP locations, that kind of stuff, which kind of cool. But really nothing, no move as far as stock or anything like that. It's still being completely hung over by their doofus of a leader over there. Really, there's not a whole lot. We do get data 15 minutes after open, PMI, which is, that used to be a big number that we stare down to be like, okay, so what does this mean as far as X, Y, and Z? It still is an important number that'll be coming out at 9:45, but really doesn't have the same impact because the threat for the most part, as far as the Fed raising rates, is gone, long gone. So now it just gets back to how long will we stay at this level, and how is the data working as far as getting back to the concept of rate cuts, which I still believe that the only way that they're going to cut rates is if stuff starts getting really, really bad. And I don't know that the market is going to be like, yeah, this is great when that happens. So that's kind of the world that we're living in. Flow has been extremely bullish. But going back and looking through some of it, they're starting to lay some lines to the downside that are like, oh, okay. So we want to go ahead and gank this 600 to 800 points on the NASDAQ. We want to go ahead and pull this, a decent amount on the ES. It's like these lines are starting to come in as far as, I don't want to say they're necessarily directional, but if nothing else, you have to acknowledge that people are starting to hedge at this level. So we can start seeing more of an uptick on the VIX. With the VIX has been a non-player the last several weeks. Really has not done a whole lot, and intraday sits flat, just flat as flat can be, either just above VWAP or just below VWAP. That is where it's been kind of residing. So that kind of sets the tone a little bit. Today is a half day. Volume is putrid. We have 240,000 shares traded on SPY this morning. That is putrid volume. So expectations should be, I don't know, Bender, what should expectations be?
Yeah, I'm not expecting a whole hell of a lot today. No idea, what they do with it, but yeah, I think the majority of people are still on vacation. We can take a look at the charts, but I probably won't do anything today. But.
Yeah, we can see where the pre-market high was, and we can see where the pre-market low is. I don't think that's even 10 handles.
Yeah.
It's a very, very tight range. But if you wanted to play scalp, if you want to do that, I think today, if you're being really studious, if there's an opportunity to capitalize, you obviously take it on any type of a setup that you can see. But I think today is going to be more like, what are they laying in from a flow standpoint? Being a observer of flow, I think could yield dividends moving forward as far as how they're positioning, whether or not they're going to sell off part of this rally next week, or they're going to give us a pump, through next week. And, we're right back into screaming Santa Claus rally all over again. For some reason, I find it very difficult to believe that they're just going to, bring in Santa Claus to back cleanup right here and right now without some type of a pretty, toe curling dip. I find it hard to believe, but that doesn't mean that, that they will. You have to actually have people who want to sell in order for that to kind of work out. But as long as the people are buying, and the other thing, a couple of tickers that I'm going to use as barometers from a flow standpoint through the end of this month, which I think will be important. Obviously, everybody knows Adobe is one that I watch pretty closely as far as flow, because it's very directional and accurate. So Adobe, as far as tech, I want to see what they're doing with NVIDIA. Are they buying this dip? Because it's been, NVIDIA got punched in the face again this morning. It was down 7-8 points, something like that. And I think it's rallied up a little bit. Apple, I want to know, are they hitting 192.50s, 195s, or are we coming down and we starting to tap these 187.50 puts? What are we seeing on Apple? Is it 187.50s or is it 92.50s? Which one? And not only for today, but going into next week. That's going to be a big one. Amazon, around this time of year, is a really great indicator. What are they doing with the Amazon? We saw that big line come in on, Wednesday? That was a pretty thick line, call line that came in, several $1 million short term. What are they doing? Are they taking profits today? Looking to take profit? Is that a Monday profit take? How are they moving off that position? Are they adding to that position? Are they taking off of that position? These are the little things that, from a flow standpoint, that I'm going to use as far as giving me an idea of how to kind of navigate what I may be seeing, or to confirm what I think that I see. That's where I'm.
Do they think that you think that they think that they know what you think you see?
See, this is where it becomes.
We always try to figure that out.
Yeah, no, because how many thinks and thoughts negate other thinks and thoughts of other thinkers and thoughters?
Very difficult. Very difficult.
All
right. Well, here's a 60-minute. You can kind of see this 45.74 stops, potentially stacking above that level. Extreme downside, which I say extreme, it's like we talked about it's not far from here. We're talking about 14 handles, right? But you can see how this low didn't get taken, this wick, and we wicked right down just a little higher, so it didn't get taken out. That's 45.55. So if they're, hunting stops, hunting liquidity, I would look for a reaction if that gets taken. You can kind of keep an eye on 45.62 here, this little dip, and then bounce. Let's see if you get anything if it takes 62. But if it starts pushing down, I would look for 45.55 to get taken and then see what kind of reaction you get. There's not, when you're looking at, let's go into a 15-minute here. when I go into the 15-minute, there's not a whole hell of a lot else, really to look at in here. It's like every time a fair value gap got left behind, it got filled. Even this one right in here was already filled. So there's just not a whole lot in here, right? So I would really just be looking for, if I'm looking for an opportunity, your first chance, look at this from, what is that, 2 o'clock this morning at 45.66.25. Maybe if they're really going to go nowhere, maybe they take that and then come up here for 45.74 or something like that. But, outside of, there isn't a whole lot else besides waiting for stops up here at 74 to get taken, 62 to get taken, and see if you get a reaction. Or what was that, 66, and then 62 and 45.55. Again, I'm not planning on really doing anything. I don't expect a whole lot. Doesn't mean, it could, no volume. They can send it if they decide to, one direction or the other. But if we zoom back out, we're still looking at, that August 4th high and then that regular trading hours gap from August 2nd, but that's, what are we at? 45.70. So it's about 30 handles up. That gap would be about 50, 40. So those are still hanging out, out there. I would be surprised if they did all that today, but keep those on your chart. Know that those are sitting out there. That 45.55, if that gets broken, like I said, look for a reaction. You had some, consolidation right in here. The first probe or entry into that would probably hold. But then below 45.37.25, if that area in there, if we were to give that up, not reclaim 45.40 or so, we might start a pull down to fill some of this stuff in here. I think that's about it. There's not a whole lot else. This triangle that I've got drawn here, it's for now, I think it's somewhat meaningless. I just kind of threw it up here going, well, they could do something like this, right? Because you got this top here, bottom here. Don't know that that's what I just kind of threw it on there as a possibility. But yeah, outside of that, there's not much else.
Yeah. It's like, so I'm going to wait for the PMI data to come out to kind of set the deck, unless I see something that is just really, really curious to me, and that I can't live without type of a thing. I don't know how much that can move the market. I do know that the dollar's beat down pretty well, and pre-market, it's been operating, the way it should with the dollar. As far as dollar up, we dip down, dollar down, we dip, we pop up, that kind of thing. What we've been getting a lot this morning. And again, you look at the VIX, and it's just in here just riding VWAP like, just like a walk in the park, which eventually that's going to break one way or the other. Eventually. They can only walk that line for so long before something happens, either a further dip, which I do believe we get more of a dip in the VIX without any type of a headline or data shock or something along those lines. The other thing, Bender, I remember years past, we get sometimes we get data from like Visa and MasterCard as far as, how people are charging up their cards, that kind of stuff, number of transactions, whether or not they're up or down, size of transactions. I don't know if we'll get any of that today or if that's all going to be a weekend and Monday thing that we get that. But
that'll be interesting to see.
But those data points are things that are not, there's no clock on it when it's going to come out. But when they come out, they come out. And candles usually shake and bake off of those. So there's that. Sometimes Amazon will put out, traffic this, traffic that. Walmart, same thing, traffic this, traffic that, same thing.
Mhm.
Don't know when. There's no clock associated with it, but we do know that it can move. So if you're playing and you're like, you're really concerned about the position that you may or may not be in, it's like stops are cool. Even
Stops
though
are cool.
stops are cool. They
Mhm.
they keep you from kicking walls in, that kind of stuff, and costing you more money at the end of the day. Stops are cool. Stops are also cool, Bender, because you know what else it does?
What does it do?
Stops keep you from having weeks and weeks of work being wiped out in a matter of minutes.
Yes. Yep.
Stops are cool. So
Yep.
that's what
Take
I
a look
got.
at this Bitcoin chart. Something to keep an eye on. I know we've been talking about it, but it filled that daily fair value gap. We were talking about that 37,665. We're currently hovering right at that level, so it's going to be interesting to see what move it kind of decides to make next. If we move into a daily here, that was a 3-day that we were looking at, but you can see the top of that fair value gap we filled, and 40,000 just hanging out here. So see if it can get, over the next week or so, if it can get any sort of momentum. This little poke above right here, these daily candles, you had this little poke above and then back down. I mean, this is key now, right? If we can get back above 38,000 and hold it, it's like, okay, well, it already took out all the stops. So if it goes back above again, to me, that would signal that it is still going to be searching higher. And you can see, if I just took a box, just take a box like this, and okay, well, everything in here has just been consolidation, right? It's like the next move is either going to be a break above 38K or, below 35. And below 35, it comes down and fills some of this back in. Above 38, then probably 40, over 40 is the target.
Yeah.
So anyway, worth keeping an eye on that chart. The player Mara, Riot, those names, they can certainly be movers. So
All right.
I think that's about it.
Did you?
Yeah.
I did joke about it, but did you watch the Thanksgiving Day parade at all?
No, you know what? I did. I worked all day yesterday.
Did
Pretty much
anybody
all day.
watch the Thanksgiving parade at all? It's like I was just sitting there going, I was like, this is just one massive corporate infomercial.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked myself the question, I was like, was it like this when I was a kid and I just didn't recognize it? Or has the commercialization of literally everything that, and I put this in quotation marks, sacred is for the bid? Because that's like Americana, right? That's like, oh, there's something sacrosanct in some ways about, at least as far as the tradition surrounding it. I don't remember it being like a straight up, 2.5 hour infomercial for any and every product that goes down. Everything was for the most part corporate sponsored, this or that. It was just was I the only one who noticed that? Or maybe I was just hungover and it just hit me different. I don't know. Either way.
I mean, I can't remember like really the last time I ever paid attention to it. So I'm not really sure. I don't remember. Yeah, as a kid, I didn't
remember it. I'm forced to
but I don't think
watch
you're paying it as a kid. It's like you're the one they're force feeding, right? And you don't even know it's like I have to have the special toy in the cereal box. Like, yeah, you're the one they're force feeding, and you don't know it. But
yeah, it was just interesting. It's like because I can't stand the watching it because it's just like, and plus people break out in song, which has always made me very, very angry. Um, extremely angry when people start singing. But it was something I was just like, this is crazy, man. It's like everything. It's just one big commercial. It's like, come spend money with us now. We're gonna rope your kids' minds, hearts and minds into needing McGrimace, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So last thing, I said it'll be interesting when some of those numbers start to come out. But what you have any thoughts around that? Like it seems like, obviously the data that we've seen has basically said that savings has been depleted and people have wrapped up credit card debt. Right. So has that trend,
I think
continued over the last 60 days or so?
yeah, I think that it has, but I think that as long as people have jobs, they're okay. They're going to be okay with spending money.
Okay.
So I do believe that as long as people have jobs, people are going to spend. It's only to when it just the American psychology is it's like it's cool until it's not, and then it's a problem.
You don't think that I know that, some of the, I think some of the lower qualification type credit cards, I think some of them, like the rates have gotten kind of crazy, right?
No, completely insane.
So is that
Completely
going to
insane.
have any sort of impact on, the types of volumes?
I think I think you're seeing it within the data as far as their larger ticket items. People are not buying washers and dryers, fridges. They're not buying campers in RVs. They're not buying boats. They're not buying big ticket items. They're not buying even, the data coming out of Home Depot as far as people not even really doing DIY stuff right now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, yes, is there an impact? Absolutely. But you flip it around and you have Gap reporting well. You have some of these, retailers reporting well with clothing and goods, like that type of stuff. They're reporting well. So I think that there's going to be a breaking point at some point, but I don't think that people are going to leave Aunt Sally off the Christmas list this year, if that makes any sense. They're going to buy Aunt Sally
Sure.
something. Uncle Joe's going to get something. Um, I think that could be something that is more of a next year thing. But again, as long as people have jobs, they're going to be okay with spending something. I don't know that it's going to be gangbusters. I didn't see any deals worth buying. I didn't see anything that I was just like, that is just a phenomenal deal. I must have. Didn't see it. Doesn't mean that it won't that people
Well, and maybe if you were looking for something specific, like you're like, well, I already wanted this and now it's, 15% cheaper, then you're like, okay, yeah, I get my deal.
The stuff that I wanted didn't go on sale though.
Oh, well.
It's like one of those things. It's like the stuff that's why I'm sitting here, texting back and forth with companies being like, hey, I need a better discount to buy this.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised to see that Blackstone deal because a lot of times the Black Friday stuff is like, last year's
Junk.
clearance. Yeah, it's like the closeout. It's like the stuff we didn't sell. It's our chance to, discount it and try to move it off the floor and make room for new stuff. So I kind of run into the same thing where a lot of times I'm looking at the stuff. I'm like, this isn't even the stuff that I want. Like the one I want isn't on sale, right? But
isn't on sale. Yeah. So, but I
Blackstone
think
didn't do that. They did Black Friday deals on their top end,
which maybe they have a topper end that they're going to be releasing in the spring.
They might, but at least for now, it's like this is the one I want. So cool.
Yeah, which is great. It's like anybody that I've spoken to that's got one of them loves them. So
I don't know how I've gone this long without one, to be honest. When I look at everything you can, like, I love stir fry and we do fajitas, and I'm like, how do I not have one of these things?
Yeah. Well, it's like you get a nice, piece of cast iron. You can lay it over anything and basically have the same effect.
Yeah. Sure.
But yeah, no, I think today will be an interesting observation day. If there's a setup on a tray that I can take to, scrape some nickels off the table, I'll do it. But really an observation day for me more than anything.
Yeah. Well, wish me luck. I'm going to be making a couple calls and see if I can get anyone to accept an offer that I can we're down to the wire here. I got to make something happen.
Oddly, I have like zero sympathy for you. I just really don't have a lot of sympathy
Such
or
an
empathy
asshole.
or no, I really, really don't. For whatever reason, it's like it's just like because I think no matter what, it's all going to work out the way it's supposed to, and no matter what, it's all temporary. You
It
know
is
what I mean?
temporary.
It,
It
it's
is
it's
temporary.
extremely temporary, like as far as what it is. So it's like,
But
and
when
you
you
can,
temporarily don't have septic and water, it becomes an issue.
yeah, but it's like you're in a position to where you're like, you know what? It's like, the fuck it, let's go stay at a resort for a couple of weeks and then come back. It's like
Sure.
you're in a position to where you don't have to live in squalor.
Well, but we do have the animals. So there's that.
Again, it's like I don't have I don't have a lot of sympathy for that.
Well, you should because I blame you for all of this. Remember, it was all your fault. Whole reason I'm here.
You misplayed the hand that
You talked to me.
dealt. You misplayed the hand, Bender. You misplayed it.
No. It's still in the pocket,
Well,
ready to be
you're
deployed when the time is right.
You're losing traction. You're losing effect
Oh no.
slowly.
No. I have a ledger of
Ledger.
yes. It's like ready. Here we go. This is what we said. So
This is what we said. All right, man.
all right.
Keep us posted on that. I'm
Yeah.
really excited to see you pull out the ledger, and we can get
Oh
it.
yeah. You'll all hear about it when the time is right. Yeah.
Excellent. All right, man. We have 12 minutes until open. Let's get comfortable. Let's see what they want to offer up. That's all I got.
All right. Cool. See y'all later.